Previously on Flavors of Love.
Few love God. The rest of us, we just give God hypocritical kisses to show love to Him. We are actually in lust with God, not in love with God. So we are with God because, number one, we seem to be a forgiving God. I sinned, He forgave me. I love Him. Number two, we seem to be a utilitarian God. He gives me what I need. He supplies all my needs. Number three, we seem to be a status-giving God. At least once I'm in church and I have a position, I have some status, I'm okay. Number four, emotional satisfying God. When I get connected to the people of God, at least church will make me happy. I could dance. Sometimes they could give us scholarship. Sometimes they will give us startup for our businesses. At least they are satisfying to a certain point. So people just get connected to God not because they love Him, but they actually in lust because of what they know He can give them.
Today on Flavors of Love.
There are about 3 types of insecurity I want to talk about. Relationship insecurity, when you are unwilling to trust other people. We have the social insecurity, when you don't have confidence to be in a social setting. And then we have body image insecurity, when you have a perception about your own physical appearance. What we are trying to say is that come to a place where you're not showing signs of inadequacy, of not being enough. Everybody is enough. Everybody God created because you're an investment of God. He has His breath in you. That means that there is something in you. You can never walk about and say that there is nothing in you. And for that reason, don't love yourself. Because if nothing at all, God's breath is inside you. And that is an investment. Because of that, you need to now love what God placed in you. Love yourself and make sure that you are making impact with that. Rather than staying in the fence, coiling your shells and then not doing anything. All because you feel that I am inadequate.
The fact that Jesus died for you is even enough for you to love yourself.
That's it.
And one thing I've seen is that if you don't love yourself, you can't love others.
Exactly.
When the Bible says that you should love your neighbor as yourself, how do you love your neighbor if you don't love yourself?
You cannot give what you don't have.
You cannot give what you don't have.
Yeah.
So, Cyril, with the God flavor, is it difficult as men to love God?
You know, I made a statement earlier.
Because like you said, with God, there's nothing we can do about it. God loves us. But with men, is it easy or is it difficult to love Him back?
I made a statement earlier that love makes duty a pleasure. You know, the reason why it becomes difficult for us to love God is because of the things we want from Him. Granted that there was nothing we need from God. It was just God and us. Because you're not expecting anything. It's just Him. If you have a 2-day-old baby, as a mother, what do you want from that boy or that girl or that baby? Into expectation free no. Into where they are done and be done. Because when you say, now we don't know best right, mommy. And Odin fear 15 years, 20 years, or 30 years, me performance and normal, and when he kakra. Because I said, who say, or say, maybe normal. What we need to understand is that if Jesus tells us that until we become like one of these little ones, that's what He's trying to tell us.
Yeah.
Let's come to a place where we are not hitting on God because of that, which we are not saying that it's easy. We are not saying that it's easy, but then it is possible. And it's only possible when you come to that place where you understand. Look at John the Baptist, hearing that Jesus is in town. Jesus has never come to visit. Meanwhile, Jesus is just walking around the place He knows He is. Jesus never come to visit. He calls people and then tells them that go and ask the man whether he is the one I've been talking about or we should be looking for another person. Jesus made a statement that go and tell him that I am healing people, I'm casting out demons. Sana used to come out and say, Ma sano mo ya mi any indication ma say ampere me.
Yes.
We no say blessed is the one who is not offended. Okay? So you offense might make offense because you are expecting that the God I'm serving for the past 20 years, the God I've been with for the past 15 years should be coming through for me as far as this is concerned. I remember listening to God's servant, Pastor Ajiman, saying that the things we go through most of the time is also an indication of God's love to us. That was a very powerful statement he made.
Very, very
and
powerful.
And so, no, some man na ukom na yodo. I also what tenor was say it makes it easy for us to come to a place where we don't become uncomfortable That's why I said that we shouldn't come to a point where we question God's love for us. Issue na nkasa ye yankasa because he hear no ma baby too much.
Baby.
Yeah, they ma kwana answer busa foforo. And that's a problem. So if you ask that if it's easy, it's supposed to be easy, but it does not be easy for us, all because of the many things as humans we think we need, and they don't come at the time we anticipate that they should come.
The timing.
Yes.
Our timing is always not God's timing.
Yes.
So we are not saying that it's wrong for you to ask God, to pray and ask God for something. He's the same who said that, ask and it shall be given unto you. So you can still ask God if you need anything from him. He's our Father. He's our Lord. So that's the God flavor. I mean, this is mind-blowing. Now we move to the self flavor. The self flavor. So what's the self flavor about?
Yes. I believe that we should come to a place where we love ourselves. Now, if I say this, I'm in no way saying that we should be narcissistic. Okay? Narcissism is when people have an excessive sense of self-importance. Okay? At the expense of other people. They feel that they are on tops. Others are not really, really important like that. I'm not talking about that one. You should begin to love your own self. And it comes with the issue of insecurity. Many are very insecure about their looks. So they don't love themselves. About their abilities, viability, and possibility. Okay? So there is a sense of inferiority complex when it comes to their own selves. They lack the confidence, they feel inadequate, they feel they are not enough. Okay, when these things come in, it makes it difficult for people to come to a place where they are loving themselves. And then Kobasana, Emma, they always want to depend on people for the approval we are talking about. Because it's Obika. Obika say, hey, oh yeah, there was a son. Was a son. Because on one kasano jintum say this is me. It's good we take compliments from people, but it is not always good that you wait for people to compliment you before you know that you can do this, you have this ability, and you have these possibilities. Otherwise, you always feel inferior. You cannot even gather in the midst of people. Okay? There are about 3 types of insecurity I want to talk about. Relationship insecurity, when you are unwilling to trust other people. We have the social insecurity, when you have you don't have confidence to be in a social setting. And then we have body image insecurity, when you have a perception about your own physical appearance. Like I said, we should come to a place and a point in our lives where we are secure about ourselves. Otherwise, the devil can even capitalize on it and make you mess up your life. Now, let me say this about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. There is a statement Michelle Obama made one time when the husband Barack was almost all the time telling her how beautiful she is. So Michelle Obama had this to say when the husband Barack was giving compliments almost all the time. She said, I get so many affirmations from my husband on a daily basis. You are beautiful, you are great, you are smart. But sometimes I block those out. That's what she's saying. She says, that's the battle. That you are living with a man who loves you dearly and he's clear and vocal about that. And I get that affirmation every day. Then she says, I have to be honest because sometimes that isn't enough. Because in the end, the messages have to come from me. This is Michelle speaking. I have to believe in myself. And even if the person I love tells me the opposite, it's still the work I have to do inside. You've got to love yourself. You've got to love yourself and practice that before you can believe it in other people when they tell you. Unquote. So come to a place where you have to believe what God has made you. Okay? You know, in our culture, when somebody dresses very nicely, now we share Nanaka say, why you feel so it's like, oh, maybe be no, you should say thank you to the person. Say thank you. When you dress good, when you smell good, when you do something in church or at any function and people say that you did well, don't say here. It's an ability God has given to you.
So I think that because what happens is that many people feel that when you love yourself means you are proud. Until why me aware me that no you are proud. So you can mistaken self-love for pride.
You see, it's how you portray it. If you tell me that you're looking good, and go like, me the day I'm good to menka. You know, there is a sense of pride, cacao, okay? But me telling you thank you. Thank you is just two simple words. That's it settles it. That's all. You preach good today. We thank God for His grace over our lives. That's it. You preach good today. I did a say a pride and say, oh, me the day be as a son I'm preaching. And also who's a son I'm preaching and I pride in a So by the action and then the display of people, when I maybe who say a pride and I say a pride. But what we are trying to say here is that come to a place where you're not showing signs of inadequacy, of not being enough. Everybody is enough. Everybody God created because you are an investment of God. He has His breath in you. That means that there is something in you. You can never walk about and say that there is nothing in you. And for that reason, don't love yourself. Because if nothing at all, God's breath is inside you. And that is an investment. Because of that, you need to now love what God placed in you. Love yourself and make sure that you are making impact with that. Rather than staying in the fence, coiling your shells and then not doing anything. All because you feel that I am inadequate.
The fact that Jesus died for you is even enough for you to love yourself.
That's it.
And one thing I've seen is that if you don't love yourself, you can't love others.
Exactly.
When the Bible says that you should love your neighbor as yourself, how do you love your neighbor if you don't love yourself?
You cannot give what you don't have.
You cannot give what you don't have.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah. So there are some signs of the insecurity I want to mention. When people are not feeling good enough to be in certain places. There is an old school gathering. You look at the people who are coming, realize that, Charlie, you've been in school 14 years. I can't go. Let me stay in my house. Because everybody will flaunting what they've been able to achieve for the past years, and then you have nothing to show. So when you want to be staying far from certain places, even in church. You know, when I was young, there was this lady who was coming to church fortnightly, like intermittently. When he comes this Sunday, he will not come this Sunday. He will come the following Sunday. Not knowing that his dresses were two. So he wanted to confuse us. But we were sharp people. We got to know. Like, maybe banner. My man from Afaso this Sunday. Okay. But the buy who say, "Mommy, when I ask you to buy You see, what's the problem? That's inferiority complex, and that is a sign of insecurity. You understand? Your ability to even juggle the two dresses you have and then change the top and the down small can even make you feel good about it. But God's grace, I've been to places. I remember I was speaking at a university. I was speaking vehemently, and then suddenly I realized that the place was packed. Then when I finished, one guy came to me and said, "Are you a pastor?" I said, "You wait, hold on with that one. Say what you want to say." He said, "I was in the lecture hall when I heard you talking. I wanted to come and see who was talking like that. Say it is you." Oh. Now, I was not bothered, but I think he wanted to come and see a thick, tall person, and then because what gives me confidence is what is inside me. Yeah. The Holy Spirit giving me the ability. That's it. So if you know that, like I said, there is an investment of God inside you. Nobody intimidates you. It's not pride. Yeah. You know your level, and then you work in that level. It's as simple as that. So a sign of insecurity is when you don't feel good enough to be in certain places, and then undermining your accomplishments or overselling them. You've been able to do something, like I was saying. We are mentioning it to you. You say, "Oh, it is nothing." Please, it's something. Or sometimes overselling them. That's why the pride comes in. And then overly reliant on materialistic items to feel better. You don't have the money to buy that iPhone. A sign of the fact that you don't love yourself is you trying to get money by all means that you don't have to go and get the iPhone. It means you don't love yourself. Oh, I bought myself an iPhone. Self-love is not self-love, it's self-hate. You don't have that kind of money, but you chose some ways and means to get that money to go and get it. So you are relying on materialistic stuff to make you feel good about yourself. Dresses people buy, they know they couldn't afford, but they still bought them. Because they need to now compare themselves with other people. Then also,
those people's own, maybe they are gifts.
Others are gifts. that you don't even know. Many of them I've been saying them on TV that if you see me wear these things, don't try to copy because people give it to me as gifts, and you are putting pressure on yourself to get them. Okay. Then another sign of insecurity is when you begin to compare yourself with other people. Comparison wouldn't make you comfortable in this life. If people choose to not to compare themselves with other people, it would be like sleeping on a latest foam pillow or on a royal foam pillow or something. Like, you're comfortable. Because me no be any competition. So I'm not trying to catch up with anybody. So one of the signs of insecurity is when you begin to compare. That one too will cause you to shudder. And then you'll not be able to do the things you have to do. Okay? And then also relying on partner for basic needs. Especially for those of them in premarital relationship. The word is basic. Basic needs. Basic needs that you call your partner you are not married to buy you toothpaste. And say he says he loves me. He says we are going out. It's a sign of insecurity. When you're serious. When we are talking about weightier matters, people bring in these trivial things, and then you begin to wonder, are they serious at all? You don't get where these things are coming from. And then refusing to spend time alone. Some people, the reason why they always also mingle with other people is because of insecurity. Your inability to spend time alone, reflect on your life, and make sure that you are righting the wrongs and getting better. It's a sign that you are going nowhere and you are an insecure person. So these are some signs which when people see in their lives, they should know that they are actually insecure about themselves, and it means they don't love themselves.
I think the insecurity aspect is just something else. A lot of us, a lot of people are going through this. And I believe that after this session, you start loving yourself.
Next on Flavors of Love.
A generation where young people will enter into what they call relationship and then begin to exclude everybody, but then they themselves. I call it exclusivity. The moment he got that boy, that girl, closes the door to pastor, to uncle, to mother, to father, to everybody. I think that you should place premium on the relationship you have with your mom, your dad, your siblings, your family members. Because if nothing at all, and your friends, because if nothing at all, when you are ready to marry and you do save the date, you share it to us. Why did you share? Why didn't you share it to yourself? You are sharing to us because you want us to also come and witness.
You need us there.
That is it. In your quest to show love to other people romantically, stop playing marriage. Your body belongs to you if you are not married to the person. It doesn't belong to any person. They can just admire. They cannot touch. If you want to touch, you can touch your head. You can touch your legs. But from your neck level to your knee level, it belongs to Jesus.
In your hands. They can touch your hands.